seeing space between the ball carrier, and the guy, the tackle assist, who may still be obviously then on their feet. Right? So re-emphasise that in your mind. We've done that though, not bad. I think, again, looking through the reports, hearing back from players and coaches, an area that we've had some trouble with is keeping people who are arriving on their feet, especially the ball carrying team.
Because they're trying to steal it off.
Especially the ball carrying team. Okay, so, but they all stand together. So if we're not doing a great job with this, the ball carrying team will be leaving their feet to seal it off so that they can make sure they got it. So if we're missing this or not doing a good job, this is what they'll be doing. Makes sense, right? So we're doing not a bad job, pretty good, but we're still missing a little bit of this.
Television isn't helping us out very much with the off your feet.
Sorry?
Television isn't helping us out very much
No.
with off your feet, because they're off their feet at every damn one, and everybody says, well, they allowed it on the TV, what the hell's the
Correct.
matter with you?
Correct.
Well, the other trend, it seems to me, is that the ball carrying person is actually, you've actually got 3 people going in at the tackle, sometimes 4, because the ball carriers have really got somebody pushing them through as well. They're going into very much lower body positions, and if it's near the line, the defending players are going in really low to get underneath them. And so, you know, they really lower the center of gravity, and it's bang, bang, and bang, and the ball carrying man, you know, obviously they go off their feet, and they don't go away. And the idea we've always said is, off your feet, you're out of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, go right over
So
hands
if-
down on the ground. or
If
on
we
top
can
of
do
the
this, if we can get this right most of the time, we should have a contest that we can then allow legitimately to carry on. So think again, visualize for yourself situations that you've seen in your head, you've refereed, you see on TV, visualize, you can see it happen, what you want to happen, so that you can have that contest going on. And I'll use Kyle Ferguson on Saturday, who allowed, not always legally, but he allowed most of the time an exceptional contest. Spence, your sort of premier game. The contact area, teams were like really working really hard to win the ball. Really hard. And he allowed that. And then as soon as any of these were broken up, the penalty just came straight away. And on we got with the next play. So if we can get this reasonable, we want that. We want that. Obviously those two things going together. Go on.
Just because we're all in the same room, Lucy. So tackler, tacklee, those are people on the ground, right?
Correct.
Tackler, tacklee.
Correct.
Tackle assist,
Yep.
someone in contact with
Correct.
that group.
Yes, who
Right.
may have been, that's why I say
Assisting,
assist,
yeah.
who may have been
Totally.
part of the tackle, but
But
it's
didn't
not
go to
defined as
didn't
a
go to
tackle.
ground, so he's not defined as tackle.
Correct.
He's got to show the same
He
space as
must
the
still
tackler.
show the same space.
Okay, so he can't go for the ball until the tacklee has had a chance to place
Well,
it.
until he's let go.
He's let
Now
go.
He can go
He
back.
can let go and then
And
grab
go
it.
back.
But both people, the tackler's got to let go
Yes.
first of
This-
all.
This too,
Tackler and the
all of this has to
Okay.
happen. He has to
Yep.
show space.
tackler has to get on his feet to go for the ball.
Correct.
But he can stay on whichever side of the ball he
Correct.
ends up. Just
Correct.
the tackler.
Correct.
Not the tackle assist.
Yep. Correct.
And
And that's not such an issue.
okay.
For whatever reason of the nature of our game, or
Mhm.
it hasn't, maybe we just haven't seen it as much. For this guy finishing up on the other side,
Mhm.
if that's happening, they've tended to get out of there,
Mhm.
or they get wiped out pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's not been such an issue.
Now, what about if you're now arriving? You're not the tackler, tackle assist. So you're just arriving on the defending team.
Yeah.
Do you have to let the tackle eat? You've obviously not been involved in the tackle
Yes, I
situation.
understand.
Can you just come right straight on the ball as long as you come to the gate?
Correct.
As a sport player.
Yes.
Yes, sport
Yeah.
play.
Yes. Correct.
I mean,
Correct. But this is where a lot of the confusion has been in terms of player-coach referee interaction, what this guy can and can't do. And then from our perspective, we've not done that bad a job But then when it has happened, where we haven't got space, guys, a ball carrying team have left their feet to seal ball off. Scott?
I think a lot of players too, I've had to explain it a few times, where they tackle, but they don't go to ground.
Right.
They don't understand that they're not the tackler.
Right.
They're a tackle assist.
That's
and
the
they have to
tackle
give it
assist, or
now.
whatever you want to call it. That's become the phrase that people use.
But
Yeah.
again, if you're a player like Scott says, and you just toss somebody to the ground in front of you, and you go like this, you're fine on the ball.
Being-
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
again.
But you got to release. You can't just
gotta
grab the
figure
ball.
it out. Yeah, you can't just tackle and then
Right,
start
and,
digging.
and
Yeah.
that's what's happened.
That's what they
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Is even that where maybe there's not been someone go to ground as a tackler, but I've taken the guy to the ground, I've physically done it, I've still
Yeah.
on my feet, my side of the tackle, I've still got to let go.
Yeah.
And that's also been an issue.
Because it'll turn into, most of the time, they'll pull down,
Pull
and
down.
then the hands just go,
Right.
and they start digging.
Right.
Before there's any.
Yeah, that's when that clap or the hands going up.
Yeah,
That's great when you're
yeah,
repping because you go.
So think for yourself now and here of preventative. Not that we always get a chance to do it, but if you do, what terminology, what phraseology, what words are we going to put in, and where? So a lot of words that are used, guys will just say release. Oh, who?
So tackler release is a good one.
Number
Or
6, blue. So if we can get a colour,
Yeah.
at least now it's 15 people. If you can get a number, it's one person, maybe 2 or 3 at sometimes. All right?
third division especially.
But don't just say release, because release who? Release the ball, release the player, right? Be as specific now as you go through as you possibly can. Can you get in? Some people are saying, the odd time, tackle assist, release. Player on feet, green on feet, release. So now the hands are away. Okay, you with me? And then if, again, you ever get time, can you remind people, maybe it's downtime, but in the action as they're arriving, if you ever get time, can you remind people to stay up? That's a tough one. But this is, be as specific as you possibly can. And then with all of that, from not everyone, again, this is generic, what you don't want in any of this is when you don't have to speak, it's all going good, that you're just talking through it anyway. That's a tackle. That's a ruck, stay on your feet, stay on side, ball's out. And for 80 minutes. So when you need to say something to somebody, that's the only time you speak. And I know, talking here, a guy of a different level, Dave Smolczewski, who's obviously with the IB7 stuff and that, he's gone through games that I've been working with him a little bit, going through games for the sevens where he hasn't spoken for 5 to 10 minutes in a sevens game. Hasn't spoken. So then when he says something, it means something. Now that's not 15s, a little different, but if you're speaking, most of the time you're speaking too much, way too much.
Definitely.
And that's still happening in that case.
Oh, yeah, without any question of doubt.
That we're speaking too much. Last thing. It's a question. Where it happens a lot, some of the time. So if we think our field, goalpost, it's fine. And we get situations sometimes where there's kick, you know what we're talking about, right? 2 or 3 times in a row. We've been pretty good, fair play, with keeping space. Been pretty good with that. Been pretty good with trying to prevent guys who are going forward, to prevent guys from moving, to keep the space. We've been pretty good. My question is, where are you going as a referee? Where are you moving to? Because here's what we're seeing. Let's say that's the first kick. You're here off a scrum. You're doing this. The same. You're doing the same motion as the kick. And everyone else is sort of in between. Where do you think you need to go? Just think it through.
To the middle.
Defensive offside line.
Well, it's just the kick's kind of happening a little bit. There's no real open plays.